The official languages of the United Nations are the 6 languages that are used in UN meetings, and in which all official UN documents are written. In alphabetical order, they are Arabic, Chinese, English, French, Russian, Spanish. Description: these languages are used at meetings of various UN organs, particularly the General Assembly, the Economic and Social Council, and the Security Council. Each representative of a country may speak in any one of these 6 languages, or may speak in any language and provide interpretation into one of the 6 official languages. The UN provides simultaneous interpretation from the official language into the other 5 official languages, via the United Nations Interpretation Service. The 6 official languages are also used for the dissemination of official documents. Until a document is available in all 6 official languages, it is not published. Generally, the texts in each of the 6 languages are equally authoritative. The United Nations has drawn criticism for relying too heavily on English and not enough on the other 5 official languages. Spanish-speaking member nations formally brought this to the attention of the Secretary-General in 2001. Secretary-General Kofi Annan then responded that full parity of the 6 official languages was unachievable within current budgetary restraints, but he nevertheless attached great importance to improving the linguistic balance. In 2008 and 2009, resolutions of the General Assembly have urged the Secretariat to respect the parity of the 6 official languages, especially in the dissemination of public information. On 8 June 2007, resolutions concerning human resources management at the UN, the General Assembly had emphasized the paramount importance of the equality of the 6 official languages of the United Nations, and requested that the Secretary-General ensure that vacancy announcements specified the need for either of the working languages of the Secretariat, unless the functions of the post required a specific working language. The Secretary-General's most recent report on multilingualism was issued on 4 October 2010. In response, on 19 July 2011, the General Assembly adopted Resolution No. A-Res. 65/311 on multilingualism, calling on the Secretary-General, once again, to ensure that all 6 official languages are given equally favorable working conditions and resources. The resolution noted with concern that the multilingual development of the UN website had improved at a much slower rate than expected. The 6 official languages spoken at the UN are the first to second language of 2.8 billion people on the planet, less than half of the world population. The 6 languages are official languages in more than half the nations in the world. History. The Charter of the United Nations, its 1945 constituent document, did not expressly provide for official languages of the UN. The Charter was enacted in 5 languages and provided that the 5 texts are equally authentic. In 1946, the first session of the United Nations General Assembly adopted rules of procedure concerning languages that purported to apply to all the organs of the United Nations, other than the International Court of Justice, setting out 5 official languages and 2 working languages. The following year, the second session of the General Assembly adopted Permanent Rules of Procedure, Resolution 173. The part of those rules relating to language closely followed the 1946 rules, except that the 1947 rules did not purport to apply to other UN organs, just the General Assembly. Meanwhile, a proposal had been in the works to add Spanish as a third working language in addition to English and French. This was adopted in Resolution 262, passed on the 11th of December 1948. In 1968, Russian was added as a working language of the General Assembly so that, of the GA's 5 official languages, 4 were working languages. In 1973, the General Assembly made Chinese a working language and added Arabic as both an official language and working language of the GA. Thus all 6 official languages were also working languages. Arabic was made an official and working language of the General Assembly and its main committees, whereas the other 5 languages had status in all GA committees and subcommittees. The Arab members of the UN had agreed to pay the costs of implementing the resolution for 3 years. In 1980, the General Assembly got rid of this final distinction, making Arabic an official and working language of all its committees and subcommittees as of the 1st of January 1982. At the same time, the GA requested the Security Council to include Arabic among its official and working languages, and the Economic and Social Council to include Arabic among its official languages, by the 1st of January 1983. As of 1983, the Security Council recognized 6 official and working languages: Arabic, Chinese, English, French, Russian, and Spanish. In the Economic and Social Council, as of 1992, there are 6 official languages, of which 3 are working languages. Later, Arabic, Chinese, and Russian were added as working languages in the Economic and Social Council. The United Nations Secretariat uses 2 working languages, English and French. All Secretaries General have had working knowledge of both languages. New proposed languages. Bengali. Bengali is one of the most spoken languages in the world, ranking 7. In April 2009, Prime Minister of Bangladesh Sheikh Hasina argued in front of the United Nations General Assembly that the Bengali language should be made one of the official languages of the UN. This was backed by a resolution adopted unanimously by the Assembly of the Indian state of West Bengal in December, and support was also given by the states of Assam and Tripura. Hindi, according to a 2009 press release from its Ministry of External Affairs. The Government of India has been working actively to have Hindi recognized as an official language of the UN. In 2007, it was reported that the government would make immediate diplomatic moves to see the status of an official language for Hindi at the United Nations. Although it has one of the largest number of speakers in the world, Hindi is not an official language of the UN. The linguistic community is overwhelmingly concentrated in the Indian subcontinent and it is the most spoken language there. Portuguese. Many Lusophones have advocated for greater recognition of the language, being the 6th most spoken language in the world and spread across 4 continents: Portugal in Europe, Brazil in South America, Angola, Mozambique, Cape Verde, Guinea-Bissau, São Tomé and Príncipe in Africa and Timor-Leste, Macau in Asia. Portuguese is still spoken by a few thousand people in the former Portuguese colonies of Goa and Daman and Diu in India, and is an official language in 9 countries, including those mentioned before and Equatorial Guinea. In 2008, the President of Portugal announced that the then 8 leaders of the Community of Portuguese language countries had agreed to take the necessary steps to make Portuguese an official language. This followed a decision by Portugal's legislators to adopt a standardization of Portuguese spelling. Turkish. In September 2011, during a meeting with UN Secretary-General Ban Ki-moon, Turkish Prime Minister Recep Tayyip Erdogan expressed a desire to see Turkish become an official UN language. Turkish family languages, among which there is high mutual intelligibility, are spoken in Iran, Azerbaijan, Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan and Kyrgyzstan. Coordinator for Multilingualism. In a 1999 resolution, the General Assembly requested the Secretary-General to appoint a senior Secretariat official as coordinator of questions relating to multilingualism throughout the Secretariat. The first such coordinator was Federico Riesco of Chile, appointed on 6 September 2000. Following Riesco's retirement, Miles Stobie of Guyana was appointed coordinator for multilingualism, effective 6 September 2001. In 2003, Secretary-General Kofi Annan appointed Shashi Tharoor of India as coordinator for multilingualism. This responsibility was in addition to Tharoor's role as Under-Secretary-General for Communications and Public Information, head of the Department of Public Information. The current coordinator for multilingualism is Catherine Pollard of Guyana. She replaces Kyo Akasaka of Japan, who was also Under-Secretary-General for Communications and Public Information. Language Days at the UN. In 2010, the UN's Department of Public Information announced an initiative of 6 language days to be observed throughout the year, one for each official language, with the goal of celebrating linguistic diversity and learning about the importance of cross-cultural communication. The days and the historical significance are UN Arabic Language Day, the 18th of December. UN Chinese Language Day, first celebrated the 12th of November, now set on the 20th of April. UN English Language Day, the 23rd of April. UN French Language Day, the 20th of March. UN Russian Language Day, the 6th of June. UN Spanish Language Day, the 12th of October. UN specialized agencies. UN independent agencies have their own sets of official languages that sometimes are different from that of the principal UN organs. For example, the General Conference of UNESCO has 9 official languages including Hindi, Italian, and Portuguese. The Universal Postal Union has just 1 official language, French. IFAD has 4 official languages: Arabic, English, French, and Spanish. Parallels with other multilingual institutions. The next largest international grouping after the UN is the Commonwealth of Nations, which is exclusively English-speaking. All other international bodies in commerce, transport and sport have tended to the adoption of one or a few languages as the means of communication. This is usually English, closely followed by French. Regional groups have adopted what is common to other elements of their ethnic or religious background. Standard Arabic is usually adopted across Muslim nation groups. Most of non-Arab Africa is either Francophone or Anglophone because of their imperial past, but there is also a Lussophone grouping of countries for the same reason.